Neon lights, neon lights. Hey, dancing with my demons, do the dash me out of sight. Run it up, secure the bag.
Hello and welcome to the SoulInsights podcast. I'm Kyle and Loxton, joined by
Kyle.
And it's album review time.
Logic, College Park.
Yes.
That is right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I had to make sure I was right there. So, Logic is life, Logic Jumper, right?
That's
Yeah.
one of your three
Logic
artists.
Tattoo and that. Yep, Logic,
So-
NF and Eminem, I think, are the three, and then High Res creeps his way in.
So yeah, we'll
But-
just be talking about just everything linked to his album, his
What we
music,
think of
his
it,
craft, everything.
Yeah. But first, we will go with... Actually, music recommendation ain't happening first, is it? Because we're going to wait until we announce our favourite, our top 3 songs, we'll say, and then we'll try and pick one each to go on the playlist, the SoulInsights playlist on Spotify.
At the end, yeah.
And maybe if we get the same one, then we can pick one from
We'll go
our
yours
top
anyway.
3 anyway. We
Yeah.
can pick two. We can pick one each, be fine. So we'll go on to the other recommendations.
Okay.
So game, just because Logic appears in it, you know. So I've already said it. So what is it?
Last of Us.
Yeah.
Last of Us. Well,
Part 2, because he's in part 2.
part
isn't it?
2, yeah.
Yeah. So I'd specifically say part 2 for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you think Logic's favourite game is? I think he has said it. I don't know what it is. I'm pretty
I
sure.
have no idea. It's probably something like Doom and that.
I don't know if it is Last of Us. I think it's Uncharted 4.
I mean,
I think
you
it's
can't go wrong
Uncharted he
with
likes.
Uncharted, can you?
I'm not
So-
sure. I swear he said his favourite on one of his...
Uncharted and Last of Us would make sense, and the fact that he's in The Last of Us surely should be his favourite.
He likes PlayStation exclusives, I think. Well, he likes anything gaming, I guess.
Yeah, he's just gaming. isn't
Super
he?
Meat Boy.
No.
Bobby Boy.
Right. TV, Last of Us. So should we have a quick little mention about it?
Okay.
So thoughts on the episodes? Spoilers.
It was okay, I thought. I mean, it was a slog for me to get through it, wasn't it?
The storyline, the background between who they are, obviously the meaning with Tommy, and the fact that Ellie now knows about Joel's daughter,
Yep.
make it like it brings it all in to add a lot of meaning to the story. Depending on how you want to look at it, if you want to see the action sense of things, then it is a bit slow. There's not much of it, but I don't think there's supposed to be, because it is supposed to be about the characters instead of the situation more.
I feel like they get a bit closer from Joel's reaction to Ellie's reaction to her finding out. It's brought them a bit closer.
Yeah,
So, towards the end, isn't it? I think Joel's actually gone quite close to Ellie now, so...
And then obviously, spoiler, Joel gets fucked.
Anally.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Exactly.
But no, yeah, he's in a bad way, which, again, was how the game...
Yeah, exactly.
Does it,
So
isn't
you
it?
know,
So-
you know that by the end of the episode, you're going to be sad because Joel's fucked.
Yeah.
Just like you know that after the first episode of season 2, you're going to be crying because of what happens.
Yeah, which I was speaking to someone at work, and they said, I think if the director's trying to give you a different perspective on how things pan out, you know, Bill's storyline was really different, wasn't it, in some ways? Do you reckon they'll keep him alive, just going, this might be how the story panned out if he was still alive? That'd be well cool.
No.
Good.
Because I'm pretty sure. Good. Because I'm fairly certain it's already been announced that they're following
Abby.
the second game. The second season is going to be based off the second game.
All right.
Meaning that's how it's
I
going to
mean,
go.
like you said, it'd be cool if it was a different alternative. Like, if he were alive, like, this is what would happen.
Yeah, but it would make it kind of pointless following the game, I suppose, then, wouldn't it? It'd make it its own thing, which
Makes
would
it
be
quite fun,
good.
though. Yeah, exactly.
But seeing as the game was so popular,
Yeah.
the storyline of that, obviously that's what they want to keep it along the lines of. They might lose a lot of viewership if they go with something different, because people want to see the game portrayed in a slightly different and more meaningful way, which I think is what they're
That's
doing.
fair enough, yeah.
Focusing less on the combat and the infected and more on the relationships of the characters.
People, yeah.
So
Cool. But yeah, it was quite good. What did you think? The same?
I only 3
left
I
now,
liked
isn't
it as a story building episode. As a storyline series, it's been really good. You can say not so much on the action, but it depends. As I said, depends what way you want to look at it. If you want to look at it, you only want action, like you want John Wick. You're not gonna get it, kind of thing.
Well, speaking of John Wick.
So film. This isn't a film recommendation, but go for it.
So today's the 24th, so a month from this will be the 24th of March. Hopefully John Wick 4.
All right, Michael Owen.
What?
A month from today will be a month from today.
Is that what I just said?
It's the 24th, and a month from today will be the 24th.
It's like, like when you got like an essay and you need to hit a certain word count, so you just start chatting random shit.
Basically, yeah, you just start saying everything as it is. But
they released
John
the trailer.
Wick,
Yeah, so I think it's about 3 hour long film, isn't that what we said?
It's just under 3 hours, I think, or it's supposed to be.
Which I'm really excited to see where they go with it. Whether it's going to be John Wick on a revenge mission because he gets left in a bad way. Spoilers.
Whether or not it'll actually be good, because it could be trash.
Yeah, he might have not even survived that at the end,
he might just do a Joel and spoilers die at the start.
Imagine.
Yeah, and then the storyline follows.
But it's called John Wick, and it's just not even about
exactly. It just follows nobody.
Good.
Right, so this isn't a film recommendation either, but I'm going to say it because it kind of ties in with mine. So Cocaine Bear came out, and the reviews for it have been banging. It looks jokes.
We'll have to watch it.
We will watch it at some point, but definitely go and watch that. But my film recommendation is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh my god!
Do you remember when I sent you that?
Yeah, that
so
trailer.
It's Winnie the Pooh, serial killer. It's Mike Myers, Winnie the Pooh, basically. Like Halloween meets Winnie the Pooh. It's full blown like serial killer, I think.
What, like good budget?
Okay budget.
Like Terrifier budget.
Probably, yeah. People have said it's so bad that it's good, kind of thing, which I think is what the Terrifier's like. But just the fact it's Winnie the Pooh on a slaughter mission makes it sound jokes, doesn't it, to be honest?
Yeah.
I watched the start and little intro bit, and it just sounded jokes from what they were saying.
Right.
Like they did at the start of Shrek, they go through the book, don't they? And they're like, "This is the fairy tale of da-di-da."
Oh, okay, I was going to say that to you.
Kind of do it along those lines,
yeah.
and it makes it sound jokes, and then obviously it goes into real life, kind of thing. But it just makes it sound funny how they tell this little Winnie the Pooh backstory.
We should watch that.
It's in the cinema in, I assume, America, and it did quite well on the opening weekend considering what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we could find it somewhere to watch here, because it's not in the cinema here, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Switch up VPN anyway, or something. So. But that and Cocaine Bear, yeah, I'll definitely watch Cocaine Bear. Because as I say, it's based off true story as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Bear just consumed a load of cocaine while on a rampage.
Yeah.
I don't know if he killed a load of people then, I'm not sure. But
well, we'll watch the film and find out.
Yeah.
Right. Is it page from the book next?
Okay, yeah. Dictionary of School Sorrows by John Koenig. I went with chapter 3, montage of attractions. Finding shelter in the presence of others. And the word is the McFly effect.
The McFly effect. It's not really a word, but
so,
okay.
I'm trying to think whether you might be able to figure it out. The McFly effect.
I was trying to think of a McFly song, but I couldn't.
It's not a song. So what's another McFly?
Huh?
What's another McFly that you can think of, like a name? It's nothing to do with music.
A McDonald's burger with a fly in it?
No. I don't know if you've seen. You might have seen it. It's Back to the Future.
No, okay.
Marty McFly. Oh, okay. So it's the phenomenon of observing your parents interact with people they grew up with, which reboots their personalities into youth mode, offering you a glimpse of the dreamers and rascals they used to be before you came into the picture.
Okay, so it kind of shows that even when you become a parent,
you still got
and even when you grow up, there's still certain situations and certain people which will bring out your, I'll say, true self.
You could even link it to old friends, like what we mentioned a while ago. If you see a friend that used to be with in school, you might act similar ways because that's how you've known them, isn't it? But I do think as well, I'm trying to think, when someone says you're only an adult because of certain responsibilities appear, that we're still all kids, don't know what the fuck we're doing.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So, it's just adults make it look like they know what they're doing.
Exactly. Really, we don't.
When I can't say that either of us really make it look
knows
like
what's
we
going
know
on,
what we're doing. Everybody knows that we're clueless.
It refers to Marty McFly, the protagonist of Back to the Future, who travels back in time and interacts with his parents while they're still in their teens. So the first Back to the Future, which
Fair
slaps.
Enough, yeah.
So he goes back to his high school, yeah. Which is quite cool.
Sound.
So there we go. I don't really know.
No, I think that's about it. So I think we just fly straight on by to the main topic. Obviously, Logic, College Park.
So what do you want to start with, mate?
Us reviewing the album. So I think we just go with our top 3 songs then.
Oh, okay.
And we pick the music recommendation.
So you do your top 3 a sec. I've just got to load up.
Okay. I actually had 5.
Oh, do you want me to do it? Because you know the album more, wouldn't you? So
go on then.
It'll probably surprise you more. So this would be in order as well, probably.
Right.
So number 3 would be Red Pill 7.
Okay. Yep,
right, yeah, number 3.
Yep.
Number 2. Oh, if I can remember.
Helpful.
Good.
Good.
Shit. Oh, okay, yeah, it was that. So number 2 was Paradise 2,
Right.
and then number 1 was Shimmy.
Oh. Okay, so 2 of yours are mine.
So, should I give my reasons why I said that?
Yeah.
So, I liked Red Pill 7 because he goes off on that. I like his lyrics.
It's constant, isn't it?
Fuck you lyrics,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I quite like that, and I love the narration at the end by Lucy Rose, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like what she says in the end, which I've screenshotted, but we can talk about lyrics and stuff like that
Yeah.
at some point. And then I like Paradise 2 just because I like that whole vibe of his flow with
Yeah.
it and things.
Cool. His whole Logic's talking bit, I'm just going to say talking bit, skit at the end is cool in that one as well.
And
In the sense of the whole robbery thing, like it's a funny skit,
Yeah.
isn't it, really? So
and his lyrics, I like, is a bit more family orientated as well sometimes. He's more just chill back, reflecting, I think,
it's
in that a little
it's a
bit
slower
more.
feeling song. Although
Yeah.
I will say Paradise, I think, is better than Paradise 2.
Right. It's still the same
But
vibe though.
anyway,
Next Paradise
yeah,
is
it
still
is-
one of the
it
best
is,
projects
yeah,
ever
so-
made. But and then Shimmy, it's just a bop. I like that. I just think that playing that live, like, that would be a cool song to listen to. So I quite like that sort of. I like Joey Badass as well. I like his music. So I thought it was a
Okay.
good feature.
So my top 2 aren't in a particular order, but the third one. So my number 3, I'm going to say Self-Medication.
Okay.
It's got my favourite feature on it, or one of my favourite features, because I can't fucking decide, which is Redman.
Okay.
Which obviously he's to do with, I can't remember the fucking name. I asked somebody at work because he knows Wu-Tang Clan really well, and Redman is to do with one of the Wu-Tang Clan. Like they
Mhm.
kind of go hand in hand sort of thing, but he's not part of it. But I like his verse is like decent. Although I'm gonna say it's probably not my best on the album, but it's one of the best, I think. Although his features are all insane. And then the top 2 are 2 that are in yours. Red Pill 7 and Shimmy. So
What's up?
Red Pill 7, I think is my top. I can't decide.
Mhm.
But yeah, he just goes off on one. It's just constant flow, constant lyrics.
I had a
He
feeling
just
that
goes
was your
mad.
top, to be fair.
Like,
When I listened to it, I said,
I
that's your
thought
sort of
it
one.
would be on yours as well, but then I had the feeling that this again. I can't remember the fucking name of it. Village Slum might
Yeah.
be
That was
on
up
the top
there.
of yours. So Village
Yeah.
Slum is my number 4, and the only reason I didn't say it in there is because, like, just then I forgot the fucking name every time, so I thought I ain't including it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I did
Shimmy.
like it. Like, the ones that made me stop and actually look at, like, my phone sort of thing for, like, what am I listening to was Village Slum was my first one that I actually looked at. So that took my attention. But Shimmy and things grew on me when I kept listening to it a little bit. So I would give Village Slum its props. Like, I did. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did like it because of what we said, proper old school Eminem vibes I felt when I listened to it. Kind
So
of cool style.
Red Pill 7 was the first one that stood out to me. It's quite early in the project, so it was going to.
I had it on shuffle.
If
to be
not-
fair. the album, I didn't play it in order.
I played it in order because of the
Transitions were good.
some of the transitions were insane.
And it gives a story, actually, isn't
And
it?
the skits at the end of each song, it tells you the story from
Mhm.
when he wakes up to when he's finished his gig. Because
Yeah.
obviously it's about his first gig. I'll say probably about his first gig. I assume it's his first gig.
His first, like, sold out or successful, like,
Yeah.
I don't know how he
But-
was. Yeah.
Shimmy. So as soon as I heard the start of Shimmy, I paused it, went over to the person who knows music at work, and I was like, listen to this. And he listened and he was like, fucking hell. Because that was the moment I said to him, I fucking love this album. I think I've got it written down somewhere, I hope. So it's cool to hear stuff like Shimmy, although surely that's not all I wrote down. It's the whole shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy,
Skate.
yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Skate
I
vibes.
thought
Yeah,
it
that's
was
what I thought.
Skate,
Yeah.
but it's, I've taken a picture of it, so it's Pimp C, and the whole, well, no, I'm on a different ignore that, I'm on a completely different song, that's why. But yeah, that whole thing of shimmy, shimmy, yum,
Yeah,
shimmy,
yeah,
yum,
it's such a good
shimmy,
song.
yeah.
Just reminds you of school, that song, isn't it?
Like the whole beat, just it made me think. Yeah, so I think that might be my top one. So, well,
Yeah.
actually no. So music recommendation, yours.
I think it's either Shimmy or Red Pill. Because we'll just choose one.
Okay, so Shimmy and Red Pill. There you go, the two.
Mate. Okay, we'll
No,
just
the
add
two.
that's
So
it.
because I thought, are you going to say Shimmy and I'm going to say Red Pill?
Okay, yeah.
So, Shimmy and Red Pill 7 are both on there. Shout outs to everything else on the project.
So what do you think of Joey Badass then as a feature?
Decent.
He's
Yeah.
good, isn't he?
Yeah.
I do like his music.
his features as a whole, so I'm just going to quickly run through them.
They're all really good.
Lucy Rose, lit anyway. Sorry if I miss any, but I can't turn my phone sideways
RZA
and I
was
can't
his
see
first
them
one.
all.
That's another Wu-Tang, is it?
RZA, Wu-Tang, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, the whole thing about that of him being in a dream that he's recorded the song with RZA. He's got a song with RZA on, is it Porter 1?
Yeah,
On Vinyl Days. I'm just going to quickly have a look-ski if it comes up. Yeah, there it is. Right, so the song with RZA is Porter 1 on Vinyl Days, so he actually performs with him there. So obviously he's wanted since the start to be able to perform with Wu-Tang.
Yeah, the whole clan.
He's actually managed to, and he's picked out some of them individually as well. Which I'll mention another one that he does in a minute actually. C. Castro, so I'll say favourite features. His features on this album I think are fucking insane.
How they come in is good, isn't it?
Yeah, so him on Lightsabers is probably my favourite one. Although on the 38 da-di-da-di-da one, the one that's the coordinates for where they
I like
were,
I like how he comes in on that.
him on that as well, and then Gaithersburg freestyle as well. But all the features on that one as well. But yeah, and then you got obviously Big Lambo and all that.
He's been in a few.
Seth MacFarlane, Redman, Static Selector, Bumby, Lil Kiki. They're the main ones, I think. Nora
Jordan
Jones
Harris.
is pretty cool. Jordan Harris, I don't actually know who he is, but his whole thing in there's cool as well. Because that was my number 5 song, Come On Down.
But I like Lucy Rose is obviously the best feature.
Lucy Rose, so I've actually
cool.
got it written down. So her voice
so good, so sexy.
is, I wasn't going to say that because I wasn't going to try not to go along those lines.
So
but
good.
It's such a cool sounding voice.
Yes.
And the accent is it's so soothing.
It's quite
and mellow,
British though, isn't it? How she's talking, very clear.
But the way you can sit there and it's so nice to listen to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amongst your rap, all your kind of harsh, I'll say male voices, and Logic's jokes ones in the skits, with the girl ones.
His own voices.
having her voice, some of those stuff, some of those things. Obviously she's in Wake Up.
Intermission.
She's in Intermission, of course. But she's in Wake Up, and she's actually featured on that one.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, okay, that's it. But then the fact that she does appear in some other ones, because I stopped and I was like, that sounds like her. So I went back onto Wake Up and went to the end, and I was like, yeah, okay. Because then obviously you asked me, you said, who is it? It's like, it's Lucy Rose. It's Intermission.
Yeah, because he uses,
person.
what was the woman's voice? He uses in other projects, isn't it? Like the car radio voice, like the robot sort of voice.
The Thalia voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this one more.
If you can see it on my jumper. There, Thalia.
I like Lucy Rose a lot more though. But I feel like, because I know he's into his films and things, it's quite cinematic when you have a narration about something.
Which is what that is, isn't it? Yeah.
So what I thought of, I don't know if you Walk Among the Tombstones, Liam Neeson film.
I know what you mean. I don't think I watched it.
When there's a shootout towards, the end spoiler, but in a graveyard, she's reading out these confessions or sins or something, and something's happening in the film. So it just sounds so cool. This woman narrating over just absolute chaos.
Yeah.
It's quite cinematic, and I said, I always thought if I was to ever make a mad sort of album, it would be stuff like that, like the Lucy Rose. I've always had that in my mind. So as soon as I heard it, I love the spoken word.
Sort of telling a story, isn't
so
it?
Cool.
Which is
so good.
what. So I'll move on to this. It's kind of skipping my list of order, but comparison to others, okay. It's up there with, when I've been listening to it, it's one of my more favourite ones. Every single song on there I'd happily listen to.
Yeah.
Sometimes there'll be a song where I'm I can't be bothered with that, or I'll skip it, or the skits, I'll be I can't be bothered with that, the voicemails and stuff like that. I don't necessarily want to hear it at that point because I just want to listen to the music. But these ones is actually you get to the end of the song and it's quite funny just to listen to that, even if you've listened to it 100 times. It's cool. I've listened to this album 7 or 8 times through.
And it's just come out today, by the way, which is a Friday that we're recording this.
So I'm not going to put it as my best. It might grow on me. It might not. But it gives me extreme The Incredible True Story vibes.
Yes.
Which is what I said to you when this got announced and when the first song came out, I think it was. Or when he announced what the whole idea of it was going to be. I think I said this on the podcast.
Incredible True Story is a story, isn't it? Because they approach in paradise, aren't they?
So as soon as he said it was College Park, as soon as the Lucy Rose feature on Wake Up, I was like, I'm said to you, I'm fairly certain it was on the podcast. This album is going to be like the incredible true story, isn't it? It's going to be a story throughout him growing up. Which, okay, it was a story about him, the day of his first show, essentially. But the whole fact that he's obviously telling that story again, there's actually a point to it.
Yeah.
So I saw something. He's got the little bits at the end, the skits at the end, saying about that day. And then he's also got the song is then about his now perspective on that topic. So whatever the topic is about, so like the shootout, say, in the robbery, in the shop, obviously now is his thoughts about it now, and then he's rapping about it, or maybe like about performing in a crowd and about how he's now perceiving it, kind of thing, of like his then and now, his 2011 and 2023 or 22, whenever he was actually recording this, perspectives on it. So it's actually like changed throughout, and how you can see how it's changed, kind of thing.
Yeah. So we're going to go through, would you say your top 3 Logic projects?
Oh,
seeing as you want to rank it. I don't know if I could do that.
I can. Ignoring this.
I could do, actually. I could do 3. Because I think College Park's in top 3. So I'd say 3 would be Welcome to... 3 would be College Park. 2 would be Welcome to Forever. And then 1 Incredible True Story.
Okay, so I'm torn.
College Park I really like.
This is probably going to make it, but No Pressure is up there for me.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'll maybe say No Pressure is number 4. This is number 3. The Incredible True Story is 2, and Welcome to Forever is 1. So the fact that our essentially top 4 is probably all the same then.
Similar, there are some really... I like quite a lot of his stuff. Like Under Pressure I really like.
Exactly, but I think about it now, I probably couldn't sit there and listen to it on repeat. Like, I'd pick out certain songs like Bounce, I'd listen to all day, every day.
But when you got to go College Park some time, I guess, and see whether you'd still be playing in rotation, isn't it?
Exactly. Like, after a month, would you still happily sit there and listen to the album every single day?
When No Pressure came out, I played that a lot, but I haven't really played much from that now recently.
So I really like that one.
But you like him,
but
though, don't you?
Yeah, Bobby
So
Tarantino
like
3 as
stuff,
well.
don't you?
Like, you've got like Flawless and God Might Judge. Like, those two I'll constantly listen to, and
normally
kind of makes the project for me.
I'll have like a playlist of him, and it's just all of his stuff on shuffle. So it's just a maybe like 2 or 3 songs of each of his projects just on a playlist. That's what I'll normally listen to. But
I do that, but with every single song.
But then Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, they've got cool memories to it, because obviously that's when we actually went off and saw him, wasn't it? So that was a good memory linked to that album.
Yeah, so 2 things. Obviously, we were supposed to go and see him when The Incredible True Story came out.
Oh, which would have been sick, though.
Which would have been insane in London.
Meet and greet,
and that
as
was
well.
when he was like a smaller artist, but obviously health reasons he couldn't, so he cancelled the European side of the tour. And then we actually went and saw him for Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. So I
remember we saying, if he doesn't come to us, we'll come to him.
Yeah, exactly. And we did. Yeah, we thought, fuck it, let's go, didn't we?
Yeah, that was good.
But yeah,
in Chicago, wasn't it? On his first, what did he say? His first show he ever done. So that was in Chicago. Yeah, it was good. It's good seeing him.
Right, I've got a few notes that I'm just gonna kind of go through.
Oh yeah, go through your questions.
So I don't know if you would have noticed this, but it's a fucking lyric, and as soon as I heard it, I was like,
"Oh, we're doing lyrics."
No, so this is just not favourite. This is just one that stood out to me, kind of like, this joke's because of you, okay?
Okay.
So I had to Google it. So I sat at work and I Googled it.
Right.
On Genius, so Rap Genius, shout out.
That's
where quite a lot of the stuff's come from.
It's mad that it's already on Genius, as well.
And there's actually meaning behind some of it as well, like some of the lyrics. So Clone Wars 3, the fact that he says Avada Kedavra.
Does he?
Yes. So, give it another listen after this, and he actually says Avada Kedavra. It stood out like a sore thumb. I noticed it, and I was like,
when you listened to
it. I had to rewind it. I was like, for fuck's sake.
Just go get a Shrek line now, Logic. Come
on. Self-medication. So there'll be more than this. This is just kind of what stood out to me. But self-medication, in the little skit at the end, one of them, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Castro. It says, where the bitch is at. And then Logic replies with, now where the beat's at.
Right.
So it goes to show his mindset, that he actually cares more about the music than what you can get from it, essentially, like the money and the bitches, basically, which is pretty cool to hear. Same song, obviously, Seth MacFarlane with his Frank Sinatra type.
Well good though, isn't it, to be honest?
The sound of it, like, he started singing and I thought, what the fuck?
I generally thought it was a Frank Sinatra sample or something, because I thought when he said Seth MacFarlane, I was like, oh, okay, it might be like a Family Guy.
Like
It might be
Stewie
him
Griffin.
talking or
He's
something.
got the Stewie Griffin song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it threw me. Yeah, it was good.
I heard it and I was like, that's Seth MacFarlane. And then a few sentences in, I was like, this sounds exactly like a type of like Frank Sinatra thing, like 21, One, the song.
Yeah.
When I was 21. Yeah, exactly. Paradise 2, the ending with the robbery, which I mentioned. The fact that Logic voices the cashier, Nicky, behind the counter. Yeah.
What's
jokes and just doing his little like weird voices.
The drive-through girl as well, picking up the food.
Oh, yeah.
Voice on that. That's Eminem style, that, to be fair.
So is the cashier one as well. Like, it's mad, really, like where the stuff's come from. AO, so the sample, which is what I was actually on about earlier, which I got completely confused by. So Pimp C, with the knocking down doors, showing these parts, I'ma come through. And show my
he's used that before, hasn't he?
Yep, so it's in... this drove me crazy. I couldn't figure it out. It's in Man I Is, and it's in Addiction. Addiction is the one that I was thinking, because I knew he used it in an old song. And there's many other situations where there's certain lines, or there's actually certain lines from old projects or references to old projects. And I don't know what song it was in, but there's an entire verse which was taken from an unreleased song in 2020, which it actually got leaked, and that's how somebody found that out. But the fact he's obviously linking in his old stuff, like NF did with Hope, he's linked in so much of his old music that it's kind of like, it's nice to see the little like...
Which shows, because it's like...
kind of thing.
It's all his stuff, isn't it? Just at the end of the day, they're developing as a human being rather than just music, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I know there's another one where he goes... We know what I said to you when he's not going to be 50 rapping with his vein, but he says, I'm not going to be rapping quick, like get down, hit you with the Beretta. That's in Gang related, that line.
Yep, so that, obviously another reference to an old song. So
which makes sense. Like, you're not going to go around doing that if you're not in that position in your life, are you?
Well, no, you can't really, can you?
It's just a bit random.
Yeah, you're
and you've already said it as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of artists, you've vented with that project. It's done. You don't need to revisit it.
Yeah.
Like, you've had your moment with it, sort of thing. Which makes sense. It's like, on to the next one.
Yeah.
You still have a connection with it, but you don't need to stay in that loop because you're not in it anymore, which makes sense. I don't think people understand that, though.
No.
Because they just want that one person that you've known them as.
Yeah, so let's go on to that. So from Lightyear, he obviously talks about how he's ready for change.
Yeah.
And obviously with his son and his soon-to-be
I got a feeling he'll go more cinematic with stuff.
Yeah, so kind of like this, and now obviously he's not on Def Jam. He can do what he wants with his music instead of having to go along the lines of somebody else. So it's going along the same lines, not like music style, I wouldn't say, but as NF, where they're going through changes at the same time, and they're both showing it in their new projects, of how they're kind of leaving their old selves behind. As good as it was, they're ready for the next step and actually changing themselves and becoming who they actually want to be and who they feel they are, instead of who people would want them to be.
Yeah,
maybe, which is pretty cool.
And if you like them enough, then I think you'll understand that change.
Yeah, exactly. You can change with them, can't you?
Yeah.
Like, you can understand that they actually want to move forward and do something different with their lives, and you can try and get behind them. If you can't, then it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's nice to see the development, isn't it? Shout out, though, to Quentin Thomas, the voice of the man in The Incredible True Story from Lightyear. So, as soon as I heard that, I thought, that sounds like The Incredible True Story, man.
Yeah.
And it just furthered my whole thing of, this is The Incredible True Story 2, isn't it? This is that brought to life. Because it did get teased that he was going to do The Incredible True Story 2. So I feel like this is kind of like his way of doing it.
Which is very similar, like we said. It is getting those sort of vibes, to be honest.
Yeah, which obviously you've got Paradise 2 on here. Makes sense. Lucy Rose is on here quite a lot. Makes sense. That dude's on there.
And it's a story-driven album.
Story-driven, yeah. You've actually got a purpose behind the actual album. You can listen to it in chronological order, and it makes sense. It's, cool that he's obviously referenced a lot of his old music and big artists as well, like from his past.
Yeah.
So some of the ones I've got written down are OBD from obviously Wu-Tang Clan, the Wu-Tang Clan, B.I.G., Kendrick Lamar, people like that, where he's used some of their lyrics, he's referenced them in some sort of way.
Inspirations, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And obviously it's people that he's wanted to work with, and some of them are people he's actually been able to work with as well, like the Wu-Tang Clan, for instance.
Which is mad feeling, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You've kind of grown up on that, and you're thinking, shit, I'm actually able to...
in the same room as them, like, what
yeah,
the
exactly.
fuck?
I'm actually able to do it, sort of thing, aren't I?
Yes.
So, I'm trying to think of what else.
Yeah,
I think the last thing... Oh, there's one thing I want to mention about Village Slum. So, the fact that he's actually gone into his whole experience properly with his parents, and obviously the drugs and alcohol, is kind of what makes that song what it is.
When he says it could be in his genes as well, it's quite easy to fall into it.
Exactly. He's obviously talked about how his mum and dad were that, how he's grown up knowing that. He's tried to avoid it himself as well. For instance, he didn't drink until he was 27.
Because you've got bad experience of seeing, I guess, what it could affect on essential role models who's like to think in your life, isn't it?
The fact he's actually rapping about, like, this is the dangers of it, this is what could happen, like, and maybe why you should try and avoid it, sort of thing, is lyrically, like, what he's talking about. I think that's the best song on the album. It's like, there's so much meaning behind it. But, yeah, obviously, getting lit.
Exactly.
Goes more sometimes, doesn't it?
Depends, like, if you become quite vulnerable as an artist, I think people connect differently, isn't it? If you can understand. Because, like, even if you completely shifted genres, I know you don't really like it, but say, like, Bring Me, they have some mental connection just because of how sensitive and emotional he can be on the track. And the fans, like, connect so differently. Like, NF's fan base, I'd imagine, would be pretty intense, you know what I mean? Because he's quite vulnerable, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, even Logic's, like, some of his songs, you know what I mean? That one, that his main one, isn't it? That everyone knows him from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really a jolly song, is it?
No, it's obviously about suicide, isn't it? So, suicide awareness.
You connect really well when you're not just listening to someone talking about, like you said, bitches and money all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You feel like they've actually got a heart and they consider some things. They know that every day isn't going to be like that. You know
Sometimes you need to go along those lines, but yeah, obviously, you said, like, oh, he's rapping about different stuff. He's rapping about family and that. I'm not sure what to think of this kind of thing, didn't you? When, like, No Pressure came out and that, it's like, oh, he's switching up. But, yeah, you need to understand that that switch is going to happen. You can't be constantly rapping about money and bitches. You rap about what's happening in your life kind of thing, don't you? Which, when you're coming up as an artist, especially... That's more than likely, or it's more likely that that's what it's going to be, because that's where you kind of get enticed to, isn't it? And then as you grow up, as you've been doing it for longer, other things take priority, family and kids.
You're still, I guess, if you've got Logic and NF would be a good example. If you've got like reoccurring internal conflict, isn't it, that sort of content isn't going to go, because that's just constantly resurfacing in your mind. But your forefront vision, like you said, your friends might change, your family's going to change, isn't it? I remember Logic, one of his verses is like, he's changed up his wife and he was a lot happier or something.
Yeah, so I saw that. So Rap Genius going on that.
Makes sense, yeah.
But yeah.
Like, things that obviously in front of you are going to change, but like, if you go deeper than that, that won't change. Like, you're in a core of you.
But your mindset on those things can change. So it goes to Village Slum. So the fact that he's now opening up about all of his... Well, I mean, he's rapped about it before and all that as well. But the fact that he's actually rapping about it in, like, I say, a positive way kind of thing, of like, what,
not aggressive, is
what
it?
can happen, and like, as I say, why you shouldn't necessarily do that, but the fact that you can rap about it in that sort of context is good. I mean, we could be way off of what he actually thinks, but I think, I say, when it comes to music, when it comes to any form of art, actually, even if you look at it in the way that the artist didn't intend it, as long as it's helping you, why does it matter? Okay,
they made that. It's called, they do something with music association. So you can define someone if they have a music taste or music association. Music taste would be something that you generally actually like the sound of and things like that, and different genres, like you like hip hop and thing. That's your music taste. Music association would be you connect to that song because you can relate to it, or you like a certain artist because you're in a good place when you discover them. So like every time you see them or hear them, it brings you to that sort of area, which makes music insane then, to be honest, when it's like that. Because you might not necessarily like their music, but the fact that you were in a really cool place or good memories by the time you heard them. It
Yeah.
just brings you straight back to it. Like Skate Free, you know what I mean? That song, it instantly just brings you.
Up the country.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't necessarily just bang it every day, but as soon as you hear it, you just think of
You're
that
like, oh my god, remember
Super
those
Mega Bowl
days?
skate park or whatever it's
exactly.
called.
Like, it's mental. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably like some FIFA songs as well. You'd probably hear them now and you'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
when we used to play like mad religious play FIFA back in the day with this song playing on repeat. Or
Like Macklemore, that brings back. I mean, that
Can't
brings
Hold
back
Us, yeah.
better memories, I guess. I wouldn't necessarily listen to him now, but he'll always hold like a cool memory, to be honest.
So
So Logic's like that.
what was the one song on Burnout Paradise?
Take me down to the Paradise City.
No, there's
Hey,
Avril.
hey, you.
Yeah,
I
the
can
Avril.
go.
It's Avril
It
Lavigne
just
song,
reminds me
which
of
was
that.
on repeat constantly.
That's all he had on the radio station. We didn't know how to change
Yeah,
it. We pulled
but
an
it
all-nighter.
was like
just
banger,
on the-
like getting along with it. You just find yourself constantly singing it for like 6 hours straight.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, it's cool that you can you can look at it in your own way.
Yeah, it's good that.
And it makes you happy in whatever way it does. Like you don't have to. It doesn't have to be the same as anybody else's. As long as it's like a positive way for you, then it doesn't really matter about what anybody else thinks or what the actual meaning is, as long as it's making you
exactly through
happy,
their venting,
essentially.
it's helping out someone else, isn't
Yeah.
it? It depends like how personal an issue that you're explaining in the lyrics, but even then, you could still relate in certain ways your own problem, isn't it? Or things that you want to relate to. It's cool though.
Right. Favorite lyric.
I've got a couple of screenshots there. I've done parts of Lucy Rose's parts as well because I quite like what she says.
Right, yeah. You say couple, you've got more than a couple there, but okay.
That's all right. It's only a couple
yeah,
bars.
it doesn't matter. It's not like it matters. Just you say couple and you've got like
Oh,
8.
okay. So shall I start with Logic? It's a mixture of her and him, so that might be alright.
Have you actually
Switching
got
it up, isn't
have
it?
you actually got the titles of the songs
No.
as well? That's helpful then.
I've just got
So
his
just
lyric.
say them. I'll see if I can say it.
Okay, so it goes, enjoy yourself, but don't escape in a substance. Dealing with your problems head on brings rewards in abundance.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, I should have said what the song is, but I just like the lyric. I think it was quite cool. I was listening to it and I went on Rap
Are you sure
Genius.
it's not Red Pill?
It might have. It
yeah,
might be
because
that.
Red Pill's about drugs, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
it'll take a while for the song title to stick on my head. I probably had
Yeah.
the lyrics there and I was reading it whilst listening to it
Yeah.
just so it sinks in a bit better.
Yeah.
But that's cool. That's literally just saying, don't escape from your problems with drugs. Like, try and deal them. I mean, that's a lot easier said than
Deal
done,
with them
obviously.
head on kind of thing, yeah.
But deal with them head on. You'll be stronger in yourself,
Yeah.
isn't it? So,
Cool, next.
should I do Lucy Rose?
Yeah.
So this is an outro. So true wealth cannot be measured in gold, but in experience, age and everything that comes with it. It's a blessing. So many of us that are chasing our youth, fixated on the wonder years, when every moment they have now is wonderful. Family, friends, having children, and shifting the perspective on one's entire world in the blink of an eye. This is age. So while you look in the mirror thinking those thoughts, just remember with every wrinkle and every grey comes another day that you're alive.
So that last line stuck out to me in all fairness. Every grey and every wrinkle, just remember you're alive. Another day you're alive, whatever. That stood out to me, but it is that whole thing of you're living your life.
But does it
Be happy to be alive and enjoy what you've got.
Yeah,
I
it goes
think.
to show, like, when you're, especially when you're younger, you have it in your mind a lot more, but you chase a lot of stuff. Like, you chase, like, women, cars, or materialistic bullshit.
Yeah.
And when you get, like, a bit older, you kind of notice that, like, you're just lucky to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just good health as well, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
If you're waking up not aching, then
You're
think
right,
yourself lucky,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you're blessed to actually,
Yeah.
whatever, it's up to you what you do in your day, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I quite like that. So it's shifting that he's obviously maturing in his lines, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was immature to begin with, but you just
No, but it's
become more mature.
Changing what you're
aren't you?
rapping about, yeah.
Yeah.
So, right.
I'll keep going.
Yeah, keep going with all of yours.
So this is right at the start. So cruising through the universe in my spaceship because Earth girls nowadays too basic. I love that. I love the mixing in. The mixing in the whole project's good, but the mixing in this where he's shifting his
The
like,
weird, like, voice
yeah, I love
sounding.
that. It's so
Yeah.
cool. I mean, G-Eazy did one where the whole song it's slowly, gradually going up and then
Right.
goes down. Whereas Logic, it's like on a DJ spin deck, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's
kind
like
of
he's
mashing
spinning
him up.
vinyls kind of thing, isn't it? So he's
Yeah.
got, it's in one of the others. It might be in one of my other favourite ones, whichever one it was.
I love the mixing of it as well. Good.
So Self-Medication, where he obviously does his vinyl spinning,
Yeah.
which obviously makes it sound cool. So, yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Let me get up on my NPC. When it comes to making beats, I'm the MVP. I'm the main motherfucker. You're an NPC.
So yeah,
He's took on board that trend that everyone's calling everyone NPC. That's fucking annoying. When
if
people
we
say
were all in a video game, he's the main character and we're all little side buddies, aren't we?
Yeah.
Basically.
Which is the mindset of everyone on TikTok at the minute, isn't it?
It should be
just recording
it
someone
should
saying,
be the mindset of everybody.
yeah, you're the main
Honestly.
character of your own story, aren't you? I mean, why wouldn't
Your
you be?
life is your story.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just in it,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay, try and link this a sec.
Yeah.
So, Dictionary of School Sorrows.
Fuck's sake.
Think of you as the sun, and then you've got the solar system, like all the planets circling around you. So Mercury will be your family, your closest to you that circles around you. Maybe Venus will be your friends. You know what I mean? Then it keeps getting further and further away. So that word sonder, which is like everyone has their own unique story, the realization that everyone is, you know, have interesting lives, no matter how pointless they might seem to you. It's kind of like, think of it as, say, you're the sun, everything's evolving around you. It's just different distances. So the random buddy would be Pluto. You know what I mean? Like the past.
So, but you say that, like, other
quite
people
like
look
that.
at you and think, oh, like, why do they think they're so important? But then they can think that about you as well.
Yeah, exactly. You could be the Pluto in someone else's life.
You've got to look. You've got to look at them and think they are me.
Yeah.
Just living a different life. So their existence is just as important as mine.
Yeah. And
So,
that's what Logic's whole peace, love, positivity is, isn't it?
Peace, love, and positivity.
That's as long as you're sharing a positive image, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
So,
It is, yeah.
Right. I mean, it made me think loads, to be honest. That's why I like this album, to be honest. He's like really, just quite sick with his lyrics. Born to die young, to die of an overdose, to die of a gunshot wound, or die of loneliness. This is the fate of so many born into poverty. To make it out of your hood isn't about sporting chains and making millions of dollars. It's about making a difference. It's about making the right decisions and in turn breathing life into a community riddled with death. I mean, that's not as relatable because it's like obviously in the hoods and project living.
Yeah.
But again, it's the last couple things. It's about turning your breath into helping the community, just helping people. Isn't it?
There's a line that goes, I don't know if it's in that song, but it's like similar to that. It's in the hood about the only way that a lot of people make it out
in the trap,
is
isn't
through
it?
death.
Escaping through death, I think he says. Yeah.
The only way you can actually escape that reality is death. Like most people won't make it out, kind of thing. Like the only way you're going to make it out is if you die.
And he says, trying to be a gangster or something, you might look cool, and it's like, well, it's not really, because if you end up dead or in prison, it's a bit like,
what's the point?
You
Yeah,
look like a penis.
Yeah, because nobody in the gang will care.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You're probably just
so yeah.
But again, that's what it is. I think with that as well, with the prisoners, you've got to live that sort of life for them to tell you. If it's some people like us, if you haven't necessarily been in the hood or anything like that, or projects, and you're trying to tell people how to live their life, it's not going to go down well. I think you need people who live it, experienced it, gone to jail, said, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So fair play to the people doing that, because they'll do it. So focused on the past, don't think you listen when I spit it. That kid back in the basement, he made it, he did it. And now my life is different, so I rap about what I know. From the basement to the mansion, there's maturity in the flow. Yeah. So it's the same sort of vibes that we've said, isn't it? From the basement to the mansion. So he's matured as a person as well as lyrically matured.
And actually becoming like
words.
an influencer kind of thing. And so
we could do this more often. I quite like delving into the lyrics, to be honest. How many have you got? Like 2?
I've only got 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One's like
as soon as you mention lyrics to me, isn't it? I'm just gonna.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go word for word.
I could go so deep into it, but I ain't coming out of 100 different things. So, yeah.
Do you actually enjoy doing this? I can just bun it off if you want.
No, how many have you got left?
3. No, 2.
Go on then.
So, and to the next chapter, the rest of their lives, through all the mayhem and adversity, through all the negativity and hardship, they did it. So that's right at the end, is it? I think that's on Lightyear.
Is it?
I think it's like he says his piece, fuck it, I'm out or something, and then she says her piece like that. And then this one as well, yeah?
Yeah.
So this is when he starts singing on Lightyear again. I think he's got cool lyrics in Lightyear, to be fair.
Yeah.
But never belonged to begin with, so this is goodbye, this is farewell, to the life I know so well, I'm breaking the chains, I'm ready for change.
So that's
probably the coolest lyric.
That's where I got the whole thing about he's moving into the next stage of his life, like with the NF thing as well. I mean, we've mentioned NF, well, I've mentioned NF quite a lot in this, to be honest, because it relates
that you
so
like,
much.
Isn't it? But they're on, like what we said, they're on very similar pages at the minute,
exactly.
like with their lives. So it is going to be, if we review NF's project, you probably link Logic.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's vice versa, isn't it?
They're both obviously
lyrical,
new parents. They're both
what they
similar
called,
type of artists,
like
I
contemplative
suppose.
rappers or something. Like their lyrics are meaningful.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's club music
Yeah.
as such.
So they're both the same age as well, or within a couple years. They're both like around their 30s.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I like that lyric though. Never belong to begin with. So even on the come up days, like you would handle a lot of rejection and neglect and things, and people turn you away all the time, and you'll always feel like, what's the point, sort of thing. But it's cool that he's got his crew that he's kept with him the whole time. That's, I think it's cool.
Right. I've actually got the fucking titles for the ones that I did. So
Good, isn't it?
in CPO. So this is the actual, like, I say meaningful one. Used to make all my decisions based off the perception of others. Scared to do anything different. I couldn't get with it. Too worried about others. Fuck 'em. Yeah, I'ma do me, homie.
And that's that wife line afterwards, I think.
Why should I have to worry about
what
other people are? I've worried too much about what others think. Why should I be doing that? Fuck it. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Which
is what I said in the new year, isn't it? I'm going to do me, homie. Because when he released his little snippet for this, that was one of the lines for the Incipio one.
And our 2023
and I was like,
slogan.
yeah, fuck it. Yeah, exactly. That's why I came up with that slogan,
they said,
to be honest.
when do you reckon he got the more fuck you attitude? I think it's the Everybody album. I just think that's when he peaked with just people expecting shit from him.
So
Personally I didn't think that album was too great.
think Everybody is his biggest album though, because of 1-800. Because that basically blew him up.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he was doing like Grammy shows and all that, wasn't he? He was nominated and stuff like that, so that album got big because of that.
But I think it's more the buddies in suits telling them what to do.
Yeah,
I think
hence
the people,
why he got pissed off with Def Jam.
You can get used to what the public sort of eye, I think. In a way you can kind of shift it yourself. But the fact that it's the more behind the scenes upper-tiers, I think, that just piss you off, I imagine.
You saying that, it doesn't matter. This is going to sound quite bad. It doesn't matter what the fans think at the end of the day. If he's enjoying what he's doing...
The fans are going to follow it.
But if he's enjoying what he's doing and nobody likes it, as long as he's enjoying himself, same with everybody. As long as the person is enjoying doing what they're doing, why should anything else matter? It's when the suits come in and they're trying to tell him that he can't do something that he wants to do... Or you might get told you're not allowed to do something. It's like, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with me trying to do that, and it's what I want for my life. Why are you telling me not to do it, and that you can't go and do it? Whereas when it's the fans, you can kind of think, fuck it. You can do it. It's going to piss a lot of people off, and you might flop.
Yeah.
But at least you can still be who you want to be. Whereas when you're tied down to something, you can't exactly be it, which is, I think, what Def Jam did to him. They were kind of tying him down to quite a lot and caused quite a lot of problems for him, that it was kind of ruining his whole perspective and outlook on it, and that's why he kind of wanted to give up a bit. And now that he's independent, I think he's going to run with it and have a lot more fun with it, knowing that he can do whatever he wants.
Okay, I'll try to chuck into perspective.
Right.
Because when you were saying that, I listened to a podcast today. It was a James Acaster, and he said he listened to a podcast with Dave Grohl, the lead singer of Foo Fighters, and he lost where he was with the music, and he didn't actually like what he was making and everything, so he said, fuck it, I'm gonna make stuff I like. This, at the moment, he was really popular and everything, so he started doing that. He said the music went down, his music was shit, it might not be shit, but obviously it's James Acaster, it wasn't the best, but obviously you're enjoying yourself. So he says, where's that tipping point where you're just going to be like, fuck it, I want to do what I like, even though the quality might not be as good. You might not be as successful, but it depends where you are financially as well, I'd imagine. Do you need the money? Are you going to technically sell your soul? Would you do that if you're in the position where you say, fuck it, I'm just going to do my own thing still and stay happy with it?
Yeah.
It's hard though, isn't it? I mean, you got to be put in that position, I think.
You can't know until you are there.
Yeah.
Sort of
thing. You can get promised all this stuff, isn't it, I'd imagine, but I don't know. It's quite interesting to see that, because then he said it as a stand-up comedian. You had a best-selling show, everyone was selling out. You might walk off the stage going, I hated that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I might have watched you and said, mate, you smashed it, and you're like, nah, it was shit. You know what I mean? It's so you're already successful, but you hated it. So it's you're going to do content that you like. You might not necessarily get the laughs, but
it's
hard, isn't it?
There's a line in, I don't know what song it is. It might be Paradise 2. I'm probably extremely wrong here. Where he goes along the lines of saying something like, don't give up your dreams for a 9 to 5. Make sure you're actually doing what you want to do so you can kind of enjoy your life.
Yeah.
what is the point in doing something that you don't enjoy? It might be a certain point where it's difficult when you're not rich.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have to put up with the bullshit because you need to be able to live. But don't let that get in the way of doing what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, it might push it aside a little bit, but you need to still put the time into doing what you want to do as well as that. So you need to try and make time for it instead of just pushing all of your dreams and what you actually want to do to the side just because of your absolute bullshit 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That gets in the way and that's taking over your life. Maybe you need a change. You need to think, right, I need a new job so that I can have a better outlook on life.
Yeah.
Which I'll say what I did, because my hours used to be absolute shit and I couldn't do anything.
Changes your environment a little bit, changes your out of a rut a little bit, isn't it? It's when
exactly.
No,
well, no, it does, doesn't it?
But there's one quick interview. He says, would money bring happiness? He says it doesn't necessarily bring happiness. Yes, it will provide opportunity and choices. That's what it will give you. Yeah. But like people, you live to your means, isn't it? So if you had a promotion, you probably end up with the same sort of money. You just got more fancier shit or whatever. But I always think that money would just give you the opportunity and choices. If you're kind of lucky enough to have that, then fair play, run with it. Yeah. But if you need the money, it's a bit different, isn't it? A bit different responsibilities. But if you've got the freedom at the minute, then do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But no.
Right.
It's quite cool though. Introspective album, wouldn't you think, from Logic?
Jokes lyric, just going to say it.
Oh yeah, why not?
Right, Gaithersburg freestyle. So used to bust tables just for the tips. Now these bitches begging me for the tip of my dick.
Yeah, I was going to write that one. I like that. Bust tables. That's what he says that a lot, doesn't he? But
yeah, because obviously that's what he grew up.
Used to bust tables, now bust rhymes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he used to do. So I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
The fact that he did all those jobs and then you still went home and he rapped in front of the mirror, isn't it? Like, it was just on your mind. And I said with some of them, you've got to be obsessed with it. I think Jack Harlow says it's a scary obsession. That's what he says in one of his lyrics.
Oh, yeah, that rings a bell, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from his song that I know.
I think so, yeah. It's one of his that he says in the lyric. And it is like that. And it said initially only you're going to see it, like when in the car, where the bitch is at. And he says where the beat, it's like it's on your mind non-stop.
Kind of on yours and on... Yeah. Music is on your mind, literally, repeatedly.
But you've got to be... You always have your mind open and be inspired, and that's what draws you in for lyrics. Mm-hmm. So you're always listening to something, you're taking it in so much, like what could you use in your craft? So that's why Logic likes the films, because I imagine he'll go quite cinematic with it, because so many opportunities from films for lyrics and
the
things,
whole Quentin
direction.
Tarantino thing, isn't it?
And it's hard to explain it, I think. Yeah, if you have quite a creative or artsy mind, it just clicks, I think. Yeah. And you're always ready for content, I think.
You're always
whether it's good or not, but you've always got something. Yeah.
Cool.
So just become obsessed with whatever you like. Whether it's got to be legal.
as long as it's not illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you can do that.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've delved into it quite deep there. So
the fact we've gone on tangents a little bit as well is quite nice, because I do feel like the meaning behind that album is a change, which I think NF's going to bring this as well when we come to review that.
Yeah, so you could go absolutely mental with the lyrics on that, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's going to be hard for lyrics.
You would just have to maybe ignore that section, because otherwise we'll be here forever. Right, I believe new music is next, isn't it? So
obviously that album.
Logic's album is top of the list, because, go.
Right. So it's Suicide Boys, Shakewell, Shameless Suicide, Gorillaz, Cracker Island, Inhaler, Cuts and Bruises, Wiz Khalifa, Star Power, N-Dubs, Tourbus, Freestyle, Don Toliver, Lovesick, probably the biggest release. Yeet, Afterlife, Lil Wayne, DMX, Can't Nobody, The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, Die For You remix, Quavo, Greatness. That's a tribute to
Good.
Takeoff. Sorry, because he passed away. LNE Chopper, Ain't Got No Answer, Lil Pump, Tesla, Rich the Kid, Lil TJ, Do You Love Me, Chloe, Chris Brown, How Does It Feel, Chinks, OS, One Sided Story, Alone Star, Ed Sheeran, Jethro Sheeran, Raise 'Em Up, Tropical Mix, The Kid Leroy, I Guess It's Love, Potter Paper, Multifaceted, J1, Bella, Mostak, The Weeknd, Russ Millions, One of a Kind, and then Skrillex, Don't Get Too Close.
Which is a week old now, but never mind.
Yeah, I didn't actually know he dropped something. I know he's doing a duo with Fred again. They seem to be quite a cool duo, to be honest. So there we go.
Right. So there's no joke or fact this week, but I've got a scenario which is jokes, just because I've seen I saw a news story about it it was from a few years ago about a story of a man in this situation.
Okay.
And with Cocaine Bear and Winnie the Pooh being the two film recommendations.
Both bears.
Yes. So, if you were in the forest, okay, and there was a bear,
Right.
and it clocked on a bear cub and a mama bear, okay,
Mhm.
the mama bear clocked onto you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'll be dead.
That's exactly what I thought you'd say. What would you do? Genuinely, what would you do?
Have you ever watched the film The Revenant?
Yeah.
It'd be like that.
So
Ripped to shit.
Okay, so
Grizzly bear. Fuck that. I'm dead.
grizzly
I'm
bear,
dead.
yeah.
I'm dead.
So you wouldn't try and run or anything.
I don't think I would.
So
If there's a gun, I'd shoot it.
there's people saying
On myself.
climb a tree. Great, a bear can climb a tree, so you're fucked there. Run away. Just talking about run a bear, aren't you?
Exactly.
So
There's probably some survival tip that might give you a chance, but the fact there's a little cub there, bear's gone into territorial protection mode.
All
and
it sees
is
you as is a
pissed.
threat.
Yeah. So I don't know.
This is going to sound absolute jokes.
Shut-
Okay?
Drive
But
honey.
this is what somebody did, and I genuinely think it is the right thing to do.
Right.
What's the point in climbing a tree? What's the point in running away? You're going to get caught. Fight it.
Yeah, why not? I mean, you wouldn't just accept your fate and you'd probably put up some sort of fight.
If it attacked, you'd want to try and get away first, wouldn't you? But it's a fucking bear.
Bear, yeah.
It's going to catch you, especially in that situation. So it sounds so stupid, but this is what this man did, and he survived.
Really?
He fought a grizzly bear. Yeah. I mean, he tried to climb a tree. It grabbed his leg and dragged him out. But then it ripped half his face off.
Oh.
It clamped its jaws around his head,
Mm-hmm.
and it was trying to rip his legs off and all that sort of shit. And he managed to actually, essentially, fight the bear off. So from
Would you even want to still be alive after that, though?
Exactly. So from trying to gouge its eyes out to grabbing its tongue, didn't exactly work. And then there was these little flabby bits on its side, and he grabbed them, and it made the bear squeal, and the bear ran away.
What were
Well,
they?
see, it came back for second. It was a female, so no.
What were they?
Maybe
Flabby
it was
bits.
the flange.
So if you're getting
The
a bear
flaps.
attacking you, just grab flabby bits on the side.
Yeah, exactly. But it didn't
Love
seem
handles.
to like it. But it ran away, and then it came back and attacked him again, of course.
Good.
So eventually the bear fucked off because it was in pain or it had
Whatever
enough.
that flabby bit.
But the fact that he managed to fight off a bear as jokes,
yeah,
you're in the fucking sea with a shark. You're not going to outswim it, are you?
But-
Just fight it.
it's hard because the strength of that would be mad. Like when they said when Poopy's got bitten by the shark, isn't it? It's like you don't. How baity you are compared to that shark is the amount of force
soon
that
as
shark has on you. You're
Yeah.
not going to do anything.
As soon as his jaws are clamped down, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your leg's not gone or your arm's not gone or you've not got your head bitten off, you're fucked.
So,
'Cause
like,
you're stuck in its mouth.
Attempt to fight it then. Or lie plank position on the floor and
This
see
is
whether
not advice. This is just a joke situation.
if it were to happen.
If it were to happen to me, I would try and fight the bear.
It's like they said the Revenant there, because they start peeling you apart when you're still alive, though. It's not a quick death. It's
So
mad,
the dude
isn't it?
tried to play dead, and he said it was gnawing on his head, on his skull. So it was biting into his skull, just gnawing away. So that's when he
Maybe
thought,
not
I
then.
need to fight. So
Maybe
don't play dead.
not-
Don't be a possum.
Maybe not plank position.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if you want to, maybe fantasy and kink is to get eaten by a bear, so you never know.
Maybe just,
Um,
if you can, just see if you can conversion kick the cub before the mum does it, so at least you've actually made a little emotional damage on the bear.
Or
on the
turn
mum.
into a male grizzly bear and just absolutely slaughter her.
Imagine, no, if you had a bear running at you, just run to the cub and just boot it in the head and see if you can take
I mean,
it out.
surely the mother bear would then go to the cub and make sure it's okay instead of attacking you. Because what's more important, to attack the if you had a baby and somebody drop kicked it, would you attack the person or would you go to the baby? Any not you, right? Any normal person, any mother
Any normal
would go to the baby, wouldn't they? They'd run off to the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
side,
And then the dad would go into fucking primal fuck you up mode.
turn
wouldn't
into a
it?
bear and just
Oh,
absolutely
God.
Shrek you. Yeah. So on that note, we will
Okay.
leave it there. So.
Watch Cocaine Bear in cinemas if it is.
Yes, and Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
We'll give you a verdict on it, so we'll watch them.
Yeah.
Right, have we done?
Yep. Socials.
So, find us on all streaming platforms under the SoulInsights podcast. Please leave us a rating and review. Twitter, SI Index, TikTok, Instagram, SoulInsights Index, and YouTube, SoulInsights. Like you said, we'll try and review albums every now and then, I reckon.
Yep, we'll try and make it a little thing to
Mm.
do. So, College Park Logic. Go and check it out.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in.
Toodaloo.